Hello, Facebook Live and Instagram.
Hi, everybody. Jamie and Marcus here.
And we are on location.
We sure are.
I'm going to just adjust the camera here a little bit.
There we go.
We are on location in Marlboro, New York. I've got to tell you, we are at a really impressive place. So there's a winery distillery here in the Hudson Valley that we've heard of for years. COVID happens and we get an email from the owner, Kim and Steve, and Kim's like, hey, we're so-and-so winery distillery. We'd love for you to come visit.
We know that we can't do tours and we can't do tastings right now, but we can do small individual groups of 2 to 4, I think.
Right, if you come, you and Marcus come, we'll be happy to show you around this and that and show you what we do here. And you know that we love to get around the Hudson Valley. We love to get around Italy, California, even on our day off, California, all that kind of stuff. So we love visiting distilleries, wineries, breweries. We love visiting farms. We love finding just really cool operations. So then the salesman comes in for this distillery, winery, sells us a couple things and says, you've got to go take a tour there. You must go take a tour there. And I'm like, yeah, okay, we're going to get the time. We're going to get the time. Don't worry, we're going to get the time. And so it's been in our mind.
So Monday I said, what are we doing Wednesday? I said, let's reach out to the distillery winery and see if we can get in here. And so Steve and Kim graciously opened up for us today, or are here today. I'm sure they were working all day like we work all day. And we are here now.
At Stout Ridge.
Stout Ridge.
So we're at Stout Ridge in Marlboro. And I got to tell you, we walked in and 100% impressed with this operation. I'm just going to show them around the tasting room here, Jamie.
Yeah, when we walked in,
Steve,
we
when are you open? What are the hours?
Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday from 11 to 6.
11 to 6.
Year round.
Year round. Parties of 4, parties of 6, right?
During COVID, right?
6. Well, we have 6 upstairs for wine classes.
Okay.
Outdoors is up to 6, but when it gets cold, it's going to be parties of 4, unless you do the wine classes, which are a lot of fun.
Awesome.
Great. So when you walk in here, there is an amazing selection of spirits. Like, I was shocked. I knew they made gin. I knew they made a couple of things. I knew they made a vodka. I knew they made a rye. I knew they made a couple of things. How many products did you say you make?
We make a total of 70.
70 products.
45 wines and 25 spirits. 45 spirits and 25 wines.
Wow.
45 spirits and 25 wines. Curacao, a couple different types of gin, Genevers, some rye, some really awesome stuff. The wines, which are only available in the tasting room right from here, are all natural. You've got to come here to hear about all this. Steve and his wife work the business. They have basically one other employee or so that helps them here. All these wines. The most impressive part about the winery, about the natural part. First of all, the facility is amazing. We got a tour through the whole facility, the fermentation, the distilling, the lab here that they analyze their spirits in is top notch. This was far more than we expected, No wonder why they were so proud and wanted us to come visit them, because it's truly, truly impressive. So we're drinking a Cabernet Franc blend here. That is, how old is this again?
12 years old.
12 years old. Natural winemaking, which means no added sulfites, a lot of other things, no added sugars, no filters, right? It's you have to come here and get the whole spiel and find out all about this. This stuff is amazing. All the couple wines that we tasted. We haven't tasted the wines in the restaurant because they don't sell to restaurants, the wines, so you can only get them here. The spirits, they do sell to restaurants. So
but you can come here and just hang out for a day, an afternoon, Thursday through Sunday, and buy wine, take it home, drink it here, sit outside, bring your own food. Really, really awesome.
Do you have food here or no food?
No, we don't have food because we want to encourage people bringing food.
Bring your own food. Bring your own food. That's one of the only wineries, very, very few wineries in the Hudson Valley that will allow you to bring your own food, because a lot of wineries have realized that it is a very good business to be in the food business as well. And so some wineries have great food, some have okay food, and some allow you to bring food. So you're welcome to bring food here. So this wine being 12 years old or so, this is the current vintage release. $25, $26 retail?
Right.
$26 retail. When you walk in here to buy wine that's that old, to put that much inventory, 30,000 bottles a year, correct? 30,000 bottles a year, the newest...
Total wine.
Total
Right?
wine. The newest release is how?
6 years old.
6 years old. So they at least hold on to a wine for 6 years before they release it. Unlike most wineries that we know will be a year behind on their rosés, 2 years behind on some of the reds, 3 years the most, 4 years is rare, 5 years is an exception. They're 6 to plus years behind on wine releases. Jamie and I have been to a couple wineries in the past. This last year in Italy, we were at a Terrassi producer's, Erpine in Campania, and his current vintage was 2007, while all the other Terrassis are 2015 on the market. We were at a winery in Spain, Lopez. 20 years for them to make their first vintage of wine. It took them 20 years. By the time they let the vines mature, then they pressed, fermented, bottle aged. Now I think it's a 10-year lag behind on their wines. So to buy this Spanish Rioja, it's at the 10-year wait. So imagine going to the bank, and I've always said this, and Steve said it perfectly here. Imagine going to the bank and going to open a business and say, hey, I've got this great business plan. I'm going to make this great product. They're going to love it, this and that, but I have to wait 10 years to actually start.
Or 20 years.
20 years to make my first dime in revenue. No bank is going to say yes to an equation like that. You have to be severely addicted to passion to be able to even go into an equation like that. So, you know, to the Erpine, to the Lopez, to Stoutridge, you have to have an extreme amount of passion to say, you know what, I'm not going to go into it and create a product right off the bat, create revenue, and then transition into my own products. There's a lot of distilleries will buy neutral grain spirit, they'll buy an MGP product, Midwestern grain, they'll buy a barrel of already made rye or bourbon or some kind of whiskey. They'll bring it into their facility.
While they're aging.
They'll age it 6 months, another year, whatever.
While they're aging their
But
own
then
wine,
they'll put it into bottles. So when you see a distillery that opened in 2020 and they have a 4-year-old whiskey, it's not their whiskey. It's a whiskey that they bought pre-made from somebody else in a barrel that's not their own product. So the first question I always ask when a sales rep walks in and goes, hey, I have this great whiskey for you. I have this great, I said, are they a bottler or are they a distillery? Because a bottler simply buys product that's already made from, again, big companies. This is Tito's. Tito's is a bottler. They buy from MGP, from their, I think their Kansas operation. They buy neutral grain spirit. They run it through some of their quote unquote, you know, stills. So then they put something on there like it's handmade, and they massively market Tito's as some handmade, like there are no silos at Tito's. There's no tour at Tito's. There's nothing you're going to get at Tito's because they're not a distillery. They're a bottler that runs stuff through another distillation, supposedly. So that's the difference. Stoutridge here is a distillery. They distill from start to finish. They start with the raw products. Now, there are a lot of others out there, but that's the question you always want to ask if you go to the store and let's say you go to a liquor store and you say, hey, you know what? I want to buy a good bottle of bourbon as a gift for Christmas for somebody or for a birthday. So, you would say to the person working the counter or working the aisle, or the owner, say, I'm looking for a good bourbon, but I want a distillery versus a bottler. Angel's Envy is bottled. Whistle Pig, it's bottled. They buy from somebody else, which anybody can buy this. You and I can buy these same barrels and do our own aging, do secondary barrel aging and Pinot Noir barrels, whatever, versus somebody who's making it from start to finish. In New York, we have farm distilleries, which means that they're buying from New York State grains and supporting New York grain products. So you could literally buy, for example, a single malt whiskey from New York where the malt was malted in Canada. Or you can come to a place like Stoutridge and actually see them malting. We actually are in the malting room right now and we saw barley. How old was that barley that we saw?
It was harvested last fall.
Last fall. How long has it been germinating?
Oh, 1 day.
One day we saw. It's going to go, 4 days, I think you said, Steve,
yep.
the germination? We saw the barley on the floor, malting right now, saw the process, see how everything gets done. Amazing. So, folks, I'm not going to go much longer because we have a little more work to do. We have a little bit more work to do here. So we suggest you come down to Stoutridge on the weekends, Thursday through Sunday. If anyone wants to join us here, I think we might do a little trip here. Will you join us here? Maybe we'll bring some food from Aroma Time and we'll hang out here on a Sunday. We might do that soon, so stay tuned for that. Literally, Jamie and I were so impressed.
So impressed. I mean, there's this awesome gin, anise and almond, right? Gin
Fennel,
stew, fennel,
Italian
style.
There's
right?
a Nordic inspired gin.
Pastis, which is awesome. There's
We haven't even gotten into the whiskeys
I know
yet.
we didn't even get into Fernet.
Fernet.
Pot distilled.
There's a vodka. There's an Amir. There's a orange.
The distilling. Can I peek into the barrel room?
Please.
Can we peek into the barrel room? Check this out, folks. This is and the still here is really, really amazing. So, all right. Here's the barrel room. 30,000 bottles go into all these barrels right here. So that's an annual production right here.
The silver tanks are for brandy production.
Brandy production.
So there's fresh wines in there that'll soon be brandy.
Soon to be brandy. So brandy, unlike whiskey, brandy is made from grapes. Whiskey is made from grains. In case you didn't know that.
All wine here.
That's all wine, which is why cognac and Armagnac is made from grapes. And one of the very first spirits, if I'm correct, Steve, down in Virginia and the Carolinas and Tennessee was brandy, wasn't it? Before we were distilling grains, we were distilling grapes to make.
That's really what Johnny Appleseed was up to. He was trying to get trees to make brandy.
Okay, apple brandy. So would they make cider and then distill it out? Is that what
Cider
they
would spoil, but the brandy wouldn't. So when in March and you've eaten all the food and everything's spoiling, you still have calories in the brandy.
Okay. So yeah, so these stills are looking really cool. This is a custom still right here, one of the only ones in the U.S. Really cool. Radiant heat on the bottom, opposed to steam. So that's really cool. Here's a small batch distilling. This makes one case at a time, Steve?
One case at a time.
One case at a time, right there.
Of gins and liqueurs.
Gins
All
and-
of our gins and liqueurs are made on that still by me.
So, all right, folks, I'm going to get going because we got some more work to do here. I really suggest you come down to Stoutridge. Come down, check them out. Tell them we sent you. Tell them folks at Aroma Time sent you, Jamie and Marcus. Come down here, check some stuff out. And guaranteed to have a great time. Education. As much as I know about spirits and wine, I learned a lot today myself. And I'm always into learning and educating myself and finding cool new products. And it was really, really educational for Jamie and I today as well.
Sure was.
Thanks for tuning in, everybody. If you're tuning in live, drop a comment, #live. If it's on the replay, #replay. If you've been to Stoutridge, drop a comment. Definitely drop a comment if you've been here. If you want to go here, tell us yes. Tell us yes, I want to go, and maybe we'll set up a little trip. You meet us here. We'll bring food. We'll sit at some 6 tops, so 6 people here, 6 people there, 6 people there, or 4 and 4, depending upon maybe on a Sunday coming up soon. And that's it, folks. Talk to you later. The restaurant, we have a couple of their products already. We'll have more after today. And we don't have the wines, so we can't get the wines. So I suggest you come here to get the wines and the spirits, obviously. All right.
Have a good day, everybody.